The first step. The vast hall of the Galactic Empire's High Council glittered with crystal lights. Thousands of alien delegates filled the chamber, each representing worlds that stretched across the stars. They whispered nervously when the doors opened, and the sound of heavy boots echoed on the polished floor. Humans had arrived. No one expected them to come without fear. The Empire had crushed species far stronger. Empires fell, fleets burned, and entire civilizations knelt when the Council demanded it. Yet the humans, newcomers with barely a century in space, walked into the chamber as if they owned it. The lead human wore no armor, no translator device, not even guards, only a simple jacket, boots, and eyes that carried something dangerous: calmness. Behind him, 4 others followed. Their steps were steady, not fast, not slow. Every movement told the galaxy one thing: they were not afraid. The Council's overseer leaned forward, his insect-like body twitching. "Humans, you stand in the hall of the Empire. Do you understand where you are?" The human leader stopped in the center of the chamber. He raised his head, scanning the rows of alien lords. His voice, low and steady, carried through the hall without trembling. "We understand. We're standing where many bowed. We came to show you. We don't." Gasps rippled through the chamber. No one spoke to the overseer like that. The overseer's claws clicked against the table. "Your ships entered our space without permission. That is an act of war." The human didn't flinch. "If war is what you want, you'll find it harder than you think. But we came here not to bow. We came to look you in the eye." The aliens stared. Was this arrogance or something else? Their minds struggled to read the humans. Many species, when facing the Empire, begged for mercy or offered tribute. These humans carried nothing, no gifts, no peace offerings, just themselves. And that was what made it terrifying. As the meeting dragged on, alien voices rose, demanding punishment, demanding human submission. But the humans stood like stone. Not once did their leader lower his gaze. "Do they not understand?" whispered a scaled ambassador to his neighbor. "One wrong word and fleets will fall upon them." "They understand," the neighbor replied, "and that is why they are dangerous." The human's calmness unsettled the entire chamber. Fear was the tool of the Empire, the chain that bound civilizations together. But fear had no grip on these newcomers. When the session ended, the overseer dismissed them coldly. "Leave this chamber. Think carefully before you test us again. The Empire does not forgive pride." The humans turned and walked out. No hurried steps, no signs of worry, only quiet confidence. The echo of their boots haunted the chamber long after they left. For the first time in centuries, the council sat in silence. Outside the grand hall, the human leader looked at his team. He spoke softly, but his words carried weight. "They tried to measure us. They found nothing they could hold. That's the first step." One of the younger humans, his fists clenched, whispered, "Do you think they'll come after us?" "They will," the leader said, his eyes narrowing toward the alien stars. "But they'll never be ready for us, because we don't play their game. We don't fear them." The others nodded. The galaxy had seen humans now, not as another weak species to crush, but as something different, something unpredictable. And somewhere, in the dark of the Empire's chambers, seeds of doubt began to grow. Because if fear could not control humans, then what could? The silent threat. The humans had left the chamber, but their presence still lingered like smoke after a fire. The overseer tried to continue the meeting, but the words of the human leader echoed in every corner. "We don't bow." The Empire had heard Defiance before. Every time it ended the same: fleets deployed, cities reduced to ash, worlds forced into silence. But something about these humans unsettled the council in a way they could not explain. They had not shouted. They had not begged. They had not shown fear. It was as if they carried a weapon stronger than warships. In the outer corridors, the 5 humans regrouped. Their leader's face remained calm, but inside, his thoughts were sharp as steel. He knew the Empire would test them soon. "They'll send spies first," he said quietly, "to learn what we are, to search for weakness. When they find nothing, they'll send fleets. And when fleets fail, they'll try something worse." A woman in his team frowned. "Do we have the strength to face them yet?" He turned to her, his eyes cold but steady. "Strength doesn't always mean bigger guns. It means refusing to bend when they expect you to break. That's our edge." Back inside the chamber, the overseer summoned the warlord of fleets. A giant reptilian creature in black armor stomped forward, bowing slightly. "You saw them," the overseer hissed. "What do you think?" The warlord's golden eyes glowed. "They are small, their ships are small, but they carry themselves as predators, not prey. That is dangerous." "Then break them," the overseer snapped, "before others start believing in them." The warlord nodded, but inside he wondered. Breaking prey was easy. Breaking predators? That was never simple. Days later, in a quiet system at the edge of the Empire's borders, human ships waited. Not massive carriers, not endless fleets, only a handful of vessels, simple in Ds. Eigen, painted black to disappear among the stars. On the command deck, the human leader studied the map. Red signals flashed. Empire ships moving closer. "They're coming," he said calmly. The younger man clenched his fists. "We can't fight their numbers." The leader shook his head. "We don't need to fight their numbers. We just need to show them that numbers mean nothing against us." The first Empire cruiser arrived, engines roaring like thunder. Its shadow fell across the human fleet. A transmission came through, cold, commanding. "This is the might of the Empire. Humans, submit or burn." The humans said nothing. Their silence was louder than any threat. Seconds stretched. The Empire ship expected panic, demands, surrender, but the human fleet remained still, their weapons quiet, their channels empty. The alien captain frowned. Fear was the language of the Empire, but here it had no effect. The silence unnerved him. Suddenly the human leader gave one order. "Light it." A signal pulsed across the void. The humans' ships did not fire, did not move forward, did not try to intimidate. Instead, an image burst across the Empire channels, records of past battles, black boxes of destroyed fleets, entire archives the Empire thought erased. The truth spread like wildfire. Civilizations once crushed by the Empire had not vanished. Humans had found their stories. Humans had carried their voices. And now, those voices screamed back into the Empire's face. The alien crew froze as the voices of the dead filled their comms. Children crying, soldiers vowing vengeance, leaders begging for mercy before being burned alive. The humans had turned silence into a weapon. They did not need to fire a shot to make the Empire tremble. "Back on the human bridge," the young man whispered. "They'll come at us harder now." His leader nodded. "Good. The harder they come, the more cracks you'll open." He stared into the endless stars. "Fear doesn't belong to us. It belongs to them now." On the other side, in the halls of the Empire, riots began to spread. Species that had bowed for centuries now whispered, "If the humans are not afraid, why are we?" The overseer felt the first chill of doubt. He slammed his claws on the table and roared, "Destroy them before hope spreads." But deep down, he already knew. The Empire wasn't ready. Because humans had walked in without fear, and once fear breaks, no empire can last. The first strike. The Empire could not wait any longer. To them, fear was everything. Fear kept billions of worlds quiet. Fear made their fleets unstoppable. If humans destroyed fear, the Empire itself would fall. So they decided to strike. The Overseer commanded the Warlord of Fleets. "Erase them. Make an example so the galaxy remembers never to doubt us again." The order spread like fire. Soon, entire fleets began moving toward human space. Hundreds of ships, destroyers, battleships, carriers, lined up like a storm rolling across the stars. Far away, the humans already knew. On the black-painted bridge of their ship, alarms hummed softly. Red dots blinked on the screen, multiplying each hour. The young officer whispered, "So many. We can't stand against that." The leader looked at him, steady and calm. "We don't need to. They'll crush themselves trying." Confusion filled the room, but no one questioned him. His confidence was their anchor. When the Empire fleet arrived, the void shook. Thousands of alien soldiers cheered inside their carriers. They had crushed rebellions before. They had destroyed empires. Humans would be no different. The alien commander opened a channel, his voice cold. "Humans, this is your last chance. Kneel or be erased." On the human bridge, silence. Seconds passed. Then the leader finally answered with only 2 words. "Come then." The battle began. Empire ships surged forward like a tidal wave, fire twos, through the void, plasma, torpedoes, railgun fire. Human ships scattered like shadows, too small, too fast to catch. But the humans didn't fight like the Empire. They didn't line up in grand formations. They didn't waste power on massive fleets. They disappeared into asteroid fields. They jammed signals. They struck in silence, quick and precise. One Empire cruiser exploded, then another. But the humans didn't stay. They vanished again, leaving confusion behind. The alien commander roared, "Cowards! Face us directly!" But humans never did. They fought like ghosts, striking where it hurt most. Fuel lines, command bridges, supply ships. The Empire's mighty wave began to stumble. Back in the chamber of the Council, news arrived. The humans, they destroyed our supply convoys. Our signals are jammed in 3 systems. Entire fleets are being delayed. They don't know where to fire. The overseer slammed his claws against the table. "They are nothing but insects." But his words rang hollow. The truth was clear. The Empire was bleeding, and the humans hadn't even shown their full strength. On the battlefield, the human leader stood calm, his eyes locked on the screen. The young officer gasped. "They still outnumber us 100 to 1. The leader's voice was quiet but sharp. "Numbers mean nothing if they can't strike us. Watch." As the Empire's flagship charged forward, a human ship lit its engines, flying straight into the enemy formation. The aliens thought it was a suicide run, until they realized it wasn't alone. Dozens of small human drones detached, each carrying warheads. They darted between the massive alien ships like wasps among giants. The sky lit with fire. The flagship's shields collapsed. The pride of the Empire burned in silence. The humans had turned weakness into strength, small against large, fast against slow, fearless against proud. Across the galaxy, whispers spread faster than fire. The Empire lost ships to only a handful of humans. They're not afraid. They make the Empire afraid. If they can fight, maybe we can too. The chains of fear began to crack. Worlds once silent started to stir. On the bridge, the young officer asked, his voice trembling, "What if they send even more fleets?" The leader stared into the endless dark. "Then they'll learn faster. Fear doesn't control us, and once fear breaks, it spreads. No empire can stop that." He looked at his team. His voice was steady, almost calm. This was only their first strike. The next one will break them. The sparks of rebellion. The Empire had never been challenged like this. Their fleets were powerful, their armies endless, yet humans had shown the galaxy something greater than strength. They showed them that the Empire could bleed, and when an empire bleeds, others begin to dream of freedom. On the world of Tranos, miners gathered in the underground tunnels, whispering. For generations, they had sent their resources to the Empire and lived under chains. Now, one of them raised a hand and asked, "If the humans fight without fear, why can't we?" On the trade world of Moria, merchants who paid endless taxes to the Empire began to withhold their goods. They repeated the words humans spoke, "We don't bow." Across dozens of systems, small sparks of rebellion flickered. The Empire tried to stamp them out, but the more they struck, the more the fires spread. In the High Council chamber, chaos grew. "Our colonies refuse shipments. Our soldiers are deserting." Everywhere they whisper the humans' words. The overseer slammed his claws down, shaking the table. "We will crush these humans, then the galaxy will forget them." But even the counselors no longer looked certain. The Empire's greatest weapon, fear, was no longer enough. Meanwhile, the humans watched from the shadows. On their dark ship, the leader observed the reports of rebellion. He listened as transmissions spread, worlds chanting their words, banners rising, chains breaking. One of his officers asked, "Did we mean to start this?" The leader's voice was calm. "We didn't need to mean it. Fear was their cage. We only showed the galaxy the key." The Empire grew desperate. They sent more fleets, larger and more brutal. They targeted not only humans, but any world that dared resist. Cities burned, billions cried out. But instead of silencing rebellion, the cruelty only fueled it. On the human ship, the young officer clenched his fists. "We should protect them. We should save them all." The leader placed a hand on his shoulder. "We cannot save everyone, but every act of defiance they make weakens the Empire more than our guns ever could. We strike where it counts. Let the galaxy see that even the strongest chains can break." Then came the moment no one expected. A small world, long crushed under the Empire's taxes, raised the first banner of independence. Their people gathered in the streets, chanting the humans' words. The overseer ordered their destruction. A fleet of warships descended to burn the world into dust. But when they arrived, they found something waiting. Not human warships, not human soldiers. The miners, the farmers, the merchants, ordinary people, stood in defense. They had nothing but stolen rifles and their courage. Yet they faced the Empire's soldiers without fear. The human leader watched the broadcast in silence. His eyes narrowed. They've learned. Fear no longer belongs to them. Back in the council chamber, the overseer raged. "Why won't they bend? Why are they not afraid?" An old counselor whispered, "Because the humans taught them something we cannot kill. Once a mind learns freedom, it never forgets." The overseer's claws twitched. For the first time, the Empire itself felt fear. On the human ship, the young officer looked out at the stars. "Do you think we can win? The whole galaxy against them?" The leader's voice was quiet but sharp. "We already have. The moment fear left their grip, the Empire was finished. All that remains now is the fall." And far across the stars, rebellion grew into fire. Worlds refused to kneel. Armies deserted. The words of humans echoed through every colony. "We don't bow." The Galactic Empire was breaking piece by piece, and the humans had not even shown their true power yet. The fall of fear. The Galactic Empire was shaking. Entire worlds rebelled, fleets hesitated, soldiers deserted. The overseer, furious and desperate, gave one final order. "Bring every ship, bring every soldier. We will crush the humans in one battle, and the galaxy will fear us again." The warlord of fleets obeyed. From every corner of the Empire, ships gathered. The largest armada in history formed, stretching across the stars like a black sea. Thousands of warships, millions of soldiers, all for one goal: erase humanity. In human space, the alarms lit once again. On the black-painted bridge, the young officer's voice trembled. "They're coming with everything, more ships than we can even count." The leader stared at the screen, calm as ever. "Good," he said. "That means it ends here." His crew looked at him in silence, some afraid, some ready, all waiting for his word. The battle began with thunder. The Empire Armada moved as one, filling the void with fire. Plasma, missiles, torpedoes, all screaming toward the human fleet. But the humans did not retreat. They did not scatter this time. They stood their ground. The leader gave a single command: "Show them." Suddenly, from behind the human ships, the stars themselves seemed to vanish. At first, the aliens thought it was a trick. Then they realized shadows were moving. Warships. Massive, silent, hidden until now. Humanity's true fleet revealed itself. Not countless in number, but powerful, advanced, and built for one purpose: survival through defiance. The galaxy had believed humans were weak. They had been wrong. The clash shook the stars. Empire ships surged forward. Human ships met them head-on. But unlike other species, the humans didn't fight for conquest or tribute. They fought with something far sharper: resolve. Every shot they fired was precise. Every move was fearless. Even when a human ship exploded, the others didn't break. They closed ranks and kept going. The overseer watched from the flagship, his claws trembling. Why? Why don't they fall? Why don't they fear us? No answer came. Only silence, and the steady destruction of his fleet. As the battle raged, a signal spread across the galaxy, not from the Empire, but from the humans. Every world, every colony, every ship received the same message. A human voice, steady and unshaken, filled the stars. We are not stronger than you. We are not more powerful, but we are not afraid. And if we are not afraid, then you do not need to be either. Rise. The Empire is nothing without fear. The word spread like wildfire. On world after world, chains were broken. Soldiers turned their weapons not on rebels, but on their commanders. Fleets once loyal to the Empire refused to fight. The overseer's greatest weapon had been stolen. Fear no longer belonged to him. On the battlefield, the Empire flagship trembled under fire. Its shields cracked, its engines failing. Inside, the overseer screamed, "This cannot be! They are only humans!" On the human bridge, the leader watched the screen, his eyes calm and sharp. End it. A single shot fired. Silent. Precise. The overseer's flagship exploded into fire. The Empire's heart was gone. The rest of the fleet broke apart, retreating scatterby, abandoning the fight. The battle was over. Silence filled the human ship. Then, slowly, the young officer whispered, "Did we win?" The leader shook his head. "We didn't win. The galaxy did. We only showed them what fear truly was, and how to live without it." His eyes turned to the stars, where countless worlds now burned with rebellion, not despair. The Empire wasn't ready, and now it never will be. Across the galaxy, the humans' words echoed. We don't bow. The Galactic Empire, built on fear, was finished, and humanity, those who had walked into the Empire's hall without fear, had changed the stars forever.